Hi YouTubers, this is Herm Says Play to Win, back with another Warhammer Ground Forces replay, this time in my Panther D. So I've numbered my Panther D number 303. This vehicle is my favorite tank in the game so far. Rank 3 German medium tank. With the high velocity, long barrel, 75mm gun. It has very good penetration for its rank. And it's got a very good armor scheme, at least in the front aspect. The side and the rear, not so much. It's got good mobility, and like all mediums in this game, it gets 2 spawns, even in simulator mode, and it has the ability to call in artillery strikes. So all in all, I think it's a really, really solid tank. It's recently been bumped up in battle rank, which means, at least in theory, that it should draw games with tougher opponents. In practice, though, I haven't really noticed much of a difference. Occasionally, you do draw something like an IS-2, which can be a tough opponent, but that's relatively rare, I think. Probably, because the IS-2s tend to be matched up against German tier 4 tanks, rank 4 tanks, that is. Okay, so here we are on Kursk, which is the biggest map in the game. And so I noticed enemy muzzle flashes here, so I decided to stop and line up a shot. So, line up a shot on AI anti-tank gun at about 1,600 meters, and first round is a first hit kill, so it's pretty good. Adjust my sights, try to take out the other anti-tank gun, and I miss. Now, I've only loaded armor-piercing shells in this tank, so this tank has a shell capacity of 79 rounds. So in theory, I could be carrying some high explosive rounds and use the HE on soft targets like anti-tank guns. However, taking out AI anti-tank guns isn't really a high priority. The priority really is to take out enemy players when you do see them. And of course, the armor-piercing shells are much better at taking out enemy vehicles than the HE shells. So I've loaded this tank down with all armor-piercing ammunition. Okay, I switch targets over to this T-34 right here, which I suspected was an enemy player. So this guy was sitting about, 2 kilometers away. So at this range, even with an accurate gun like this 75mm L70, it does require a bit of luck to actually hit the target. And in simulator mode in this game, there are no nameplates. Now, as time goes on in a battle like this, there is more and more smoke, which makes it hard to sight targets as I take out another anti-tank gun. Yeah, and that's something you just have to try to work on. So I apologize for the hitching in this video. I think there was something just slowed down back there during the live recording of this battle. So switch targets to another AI T-34, get a hit. On target. Now, it's always a good idea to try to take out enemy player tanks first, but it is also necessary to whittle down the enemy AI vehicles. And the reason for that is because friendly AIs will shoot at enemy vehicles. whether the enemy are player vehicles or AI-driven vehicles. And a good way to actually spot targets on a map is to watch where the friendly outgoing fire is landing, because the friendly AIs are going to send shells in the direction of targets it can detect. And so if you're having a hard time sighting targets just through your own scanning, then following where the friendly shells land is a good way to actually locate something for you to shoot at. And so at this point I'm engaging this T-34 here. It's an AI. Trying to take him out. And this target is about somewhere around 1,600 meters away.
It serves him right.
Okay, so that hit was at 1,500 meters. According to the scale on this gun sight. So since I'm on this target, I decide to stick with it and take it out. Now, right there, you can see that that's the effect of the random gun dispersion. Yeah, so the targeting site was at almost exactly the same place. So now I notice this enemy medium just drive by, and I'm trying to keep track of him because he's obviously an enemy player, and that makes him a priority target. Now, it is really hard to see through all this smoke and through all this tree cover and foliage. And so I really can't engage that enemy player tank effectively, so I switch back to this AI T-34 here, hoping to take it out. And trying to land shots. Adjusting the sight once more.
Yes,
And
I hit.
yes. Take out another AI T-34. Trying to get some sight there, and I have to say that was a lucky shot. So I was firing toward where the muzzle flash was, and turns out the shot that I sent down there actually took out another AI T-34, so that was good. Yeah, it turns out in real life during World War II, a lot of times tankers just took shots at where enemy shots were coming from, so firing at muzzle flashes. And that's because in the chaos of battle, it can be hard, really hard, to positively sight the enemy. But based on where the muzzle flashes are coming from, you can have a good sense of where the enemy tank probably is. So at this point, I'm driving towards the west a bit, trying to sight a new target, and I see this guy right here, and I'm pretty sure that these were enemy players over here. I think there were actually two of them. And so the first shell lands over, sights down a little bit. The next one actually hits one of these guys in the side of the turret. Unfortunately, it didn't really do real damage to him. So there are two of them there, as you can see on this trench. Now I'm pointing the front of my hull at an angle towards these guys. And so the thinking is that at this range, they really don't have a very good chance of penetrating the front arm of the Panther. And the angling enhances the effective thickness of the armor towards the incoming round. And so this guy actually manages to hit me a couple of times, but all he did was superficial track damage that I repaired quite easily. Now this guy's kind of in a bad position in the sense that he's stuck where he is. It's just a matter of time before he gets outflanked and taken out. I don't take him out. And so here one of his shells takes out the tracks. So I start repair. Now my gun barrel has been damaged. And in this game, if you fire the tank or fire the gun with a damaged barrel, like it is right now, it can actually cause an explosion of the shell in the barrel, which will wreck the tank. And so I have to let the barrel repair first, which it is. And you can see that the friendly anti-tank guns are all trying to shoot this guy. But this guy is, he's in a really good position. He's completely hull down. He just has a little bit of his turret sticking out. I did manage to get a good hit on him, took out his loader and injured the rest of his crew. So he blew my tracks off again. I'm repairing. So the repair skill on this crew is pretty good, so the track is back up. Not that it really mattered at this point, because I wasn't going anywhere. I was going to prosecute this guy until I take him out. So it's a small target to hit, and he's about, what, 1.4 kilometers, 1.5 kilometers away. And so, factoring in the random gun dispersion, it does take a while in order to get the killing hit on this guy, as another enemy crosses in the background there. You can see the enemy crossing on the left of the screen. I'm going to leave him alone because this guy that I'm shooting at, he is still a threat. I can't simply just turn my side to him, because even at this range, a side hit can easily take me out, so I'm kind of locked in this engagement until the target is dead. But he's still there. He's not moving, not maneuvering. He doesn't have many options to maneuver, because I've got friendlies on his left flank. And probably if he moves too far, he would give the enemies on his left flank shots. And so finally I hit this guy in the turret and take him out. Yeah. So this was actually a full battle. And that's the nice thing about playing on the weekends, if you have bigger battles. Okay, at this point I notice there's an enemy medium in H2 trying to outflank us. So I said that in the team chat, but of course nobody pays attention to me when I say that, and so one of our Tigers got taken out by the flanking T-34, and then he complains, "Are you kidding?" Well, you know, I did point out to you that there was a medium flanking in H2, but you know, when you don't pay attention to team chat, that's what happens. You get shot in the side and you have no idea what happens. Okay, so I drive up, but by the time I get there, this guy that was flanking was taken out by friendly team. And so we're firmly in control of this match. At this point, I think there are maybe 4 or 5 enemy players still left. And yeah, they're showing up on the map now. but they're really well hidden among the trees. So there's actually better cover on the Russian side of the map than there is on the German side. And it makes sense because in order for the Russians to achieve any consistent success on this map, they have to use the cover, they have to use the terrain in order to get a good flanking movement. And so the enemy T-34, who was in H2, he had the right idea. It's just that he showed up too late. It really makes a difference in this battle. As I take a shot from one of the enemy mediums in F2, I think. So I'm telling my team where the enemy spots are in F2 and E4, so they can know where to maneuver to spot the enemy and engage them. So I have line of sight somehow on these guys in F2. And I am getting shot at. However, this is not a good place to try to engage them just because there are trees on our side and there's a lot of smoke and it's going to be really hard to spot these guys that are shooting at me. So as you can see, yeah, there's not much you can see from this position because of all the smoke and trees. So I decide to back up, decide to relocate. Yeah, so this game, especially in the simulator mode, really rewards tactical thinking and patience. So sometimes you'll find yourself in a situation where you're not in a good position to engage or to even spot the enemy because of the battlefield conditions. And so you have to act and think flexibly. And oftentimes that means relocating. So again, I'm telling my friendlies where the enemies are in F2. Communication is vital in this game because our friendly players can't actually see enemy units unless the enemy unit happens to be within line of sight. And so when I spot enemies, I usually try to tell our friendly team where the enemy is so they can maneuver to engage. Okay, so at this point I'm just capturing the zone. So farm some capture points, might as well. I mean, we have this game in hand. It's just a matter of picking up credits, research points, kills, etc. And so, yeah, these guys, they were somewhere hidden in that back ridge over there. Yeah, but they were taken out by friendlies. Okay, so another guy pops up at E4, trying to follow where the friendly shells are landing. And yeah, I'm trying to look for this guy. It's really hard to see because of all this smoke. Looking for the smoke to clear. Smoke to clear. Find this guy. And I finally do spot him. There he is, hiding among the trees, and just fired. So trying to line up a shot here. And there you go. Set him afire and killed him. So pretty good. Another kill. Kills are always nice. Okay, and I think this was the last enemy. So unfortunately I couldn't get a good clean shot on him because he was hugging the ridge line here. So I can see only the very, very top of his turret. And yeah, he was just taken out by friendly TD. So yeah, that was it. Yep, so another long simulator battle on Kursk. I think this is probably my favorite map just because I like German playstyle a lot. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you've stayed around to the end here, and I'll see you on the next one.